Shut up and sit down.
To the Nerds at Large Spoilercast for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And we are joined once again by two awesome guests from Respawn Aim Fire, Chad and Holden. Why don't you say hey at the same time in one cacophonous, just horrible voice?
Hey! Oh god, the waveform on my recording just went crazy.
Yep. And everyone listening to us just left.
You're welcome.
How are you guys doing on Easter?
Well,
I kind of forgot it was Easter.
It's always a
Do
good
what?
day with Game of Thrones playing, so it was a good Easter.
Oh yeah. He is risen, as is the Night King.
Has the Night King risen, or does he just make other people rise?
Do you think Jesus was a White Walker?
No, I'm just saying, like, Jesus came back.
I'm not saying he isn't.
Or
This
was
is
he
getting
a white?
some blasphemous territory. We're definitely going to upset some people.
Happy
Now,
Easter,
anyone who
everyone.
stayed on after the screech, now really.
Yeah, I know. Like,
So it's just us.
Our subscribers
all right,
hit.
so the cool people are here now, right? All right, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now let's go. All right. Well, let's get into this episode. I think this is. Oh, first I'm gonna mention this. I didn't before. We all did our predictions for who's gonna live and die in this entire season. I kind of forgot to plug that at the beginning of last time. I finally have those made, so I'm gonna link to those. You can follow along to see how all of us are doing. If anyone predicted a death in the first two episodes, they're obviously
Man, they are wrong.
they're wrong, clearly wrong.
I did two, but just so I didn't have all of mine in the last episode. It's the only reason I had one for the first episode.
Yeah, I think almost all of mine were in like 6 and 5. I think I might have had one or two
I think
this early just for the hell of
I
it.
think I had one this episode and them kind of spread out in the last couple.
I don't know. I'll say this, though. Based on what happened in this episode, I'd be very surprised if no one died in episode 3.
I think it's safe to say there are a lot of people that are going to die next week.
Yeah, that'd be hysterical if no one dies. Just the White Walkers just kind of like walk around the castle for like all of episode 3 and then just moves on.
Yeah.
No one
the next
dies.
episode-
It's just, it's very passive.
yeah, next episode might be that longest battle thing.
Yeah,
where it
it's
ended.
definitely shaping up to be the case. I think I read somewhere too that the official runtime that was posted online was increased by 20 minutes for this episode.
Yep.
For the next week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
freaking
pretty awesome.
excited.
I'm sure they didn't do that to add in boring stuff like dragons flying or anything.
Dragons flying
I don't
is
know.
so tame.
They might have added 20 more minutes of campfire drinking,
And Podrick singing.
which honestly I'm not going to completely be mad about. Yeah, this is one of those I am like kind of conflicted with this episode because in a lot of ways it kind of like it was obviously it was like going for everyone's last night, and it became clear like as we were getting later in the episode, it's like, okay, this is what this episode is. We're not going into the battle. We're just doing this.
Yeah.
Which I think that would play a lot better if this was a Netflix show. And we were going straight into the next episode after this.
This felt
you
very
know?
much like just a continuation of episode 1. Like more reunions, more people reminiscing on the past. Like it wasn't bad. It was just there's 6 episodes left, guys. Come on. I waited a week for this.
I feel like last week was everyone getting back together and meeting up saying, hey, I haven't seen you in so many years. This is what happened. This episode was everyone becoming friends. So that I feel like when episode 6 comes and they very abruptly end the series, they don't have to go back and explain why everything just ends so happy.
Yeah, so
Because that's how I feel like it's going to end, is everyone happy.
there were some reunions too. I thought the Theon Sansa reunion was unnecessarily long. Like they really lingered on that moment. I'm like, really? They're good characters. Nothing against them, but like I don't remember them having a big connection in earlier seasons.
Other than the fact that she thought he murdered her brothers.
Yeah.
And then he saved her.
No.
Okay.
I actually disagree. In season 5, they went through absolute hell together with Ramsay, so that actually hit me really hard.
Okay.
To be,
I'd forgotten about that completely. So
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it, Darby, that it really happened.
Well, like it's like remember the like absolutely terrible rape scene in season 5? Like I kind of can't forget that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you remind me of that, Darby? You're an asshole.
How dare you?
Well, I'm here just to remind you of. Do you want to talk about season 5 Dorn too while we're at it? Let's just air out all the dirty laundry.
Just some fucked up shit happened on this show. It's all happened.
Yeah, so like that. I definitely like. I enjoyed big parts of this episode, and I kind of enjoyed seeing. Like I said, the like, well, we're all gonna die. Let's get drunk around the campfire. It was entertaining to watch, but I kind of compared this. One of the first things I said to Jeff afterwards is me and Jeff are huge fans of BoJack Horseman
And friends.
We're huge friends with BoJack Horseman, and they'll take one episode. Like they had an episode this last season that it was all like basically one shot, and it was just BoJack Horseman doing like a monologue. And it's like a super weird concept for like a 30-minute long episode. It was like super experimental, but it's actually probably one of the best BoJack Horseman episodes of all time. But what made it work is it was super experimental and weird, and you didn't see any of the characters, but you were able to immediately go into the next episode, so you didn't mind it. So like I felt like this was a very experimental episode that like we're gonna go deep into the reunions and what are all your different characters going to do in their last night alive? And I think it works, but the fact that, again, we have to wait a whole week afterwards, it makes you feel a little bummed out.
No, I've already been waiting 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I agree with that point, too, where part of what makes Game of Thrones work so well is that it does meander. It does linger, which makes it feel real. And this feels real. This feels realistic how these characters would have reacted before potentially the apocalypse, or before the potential apocalypse. And I don't know, like to your point there, like at the end, they had the final shot of the Night King or the White Walkers like pushing their feet down. It's like there are 4 episodes left. Can we please get to it already? I don't have the 2-year wait you guys had because I started watching this last year, and I'm annoyed. So I can't imagine after 2 years how annoyed you guys must be. It just, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated from this episode. It was good. It had good character moments. If there were maybe 8 episodes or like more, I'd be more happy with it. I just feel like they're really taking their time when it already felt condensed.
Right. Like in some ways, I could almost see us looking back on this episode more positively than we're gonna feel right now.
Yeah.
Just because,
absolutely.
As a whole, I feel like it'll work more. Like, if people, like, who have never watched Game of Thrones watch it when it's all done, it'll be like, oh, that was a cool, like, way to see all these characters, and now battle scene,
I wonder if we're just, like, we're expecting so much from this season that they're like, no, guys, we really didn't have that much. So, like, after the battle in episode 3, I don't know what else we're going to do. So, really appreciate these episodes.
That'd be a shame.
In a way, I kind of get it, because, like, I mean, once the White Walkers attack, it kind of feels like it's go time, so I feel like there's only so much you can do once that happens.
There's no room for this kind of stuff once that happens.
Right.
Yeah. Unless there are multiple battles. It may not be like the one White Walker battle and that's it.
Right. And I imagine that probably will be the case, but
I just
4 episodes straight of battles would probably be a hard thing to do, story-wise and...
I imagine there's going to be one episode, like probably 5 or at least the latter part of 4 starting there. We're going to have a lot more of the talking stuff that involving Cersei a lot more because she wasn't in this episode at all.
Right.
So,
yeah, which is interesting because they still showed King's Landing in the beginning, in the intro. I kept waiting for us to jump to King's Landing. I was like, where's that going to come in? But it didn't.
One thing to keep in mind, too, is we haven't seen the Night King's army the entire season up until the last 15 seconds of the episode, and we never saw the Night King. I believe it was only White Walkers.
And just all his White Walker, long hair White Walker friends.
How do we know that's the entire army? Maybe the other army is heading further south and went past Winterfell.
Well, I mean, the only one who
we
can
don't
really
know
do that is him on the dragon. They got to get to Winterfell before they can get to King's Landing. That's just how geography works.
No, I know. I'm just saying, is that does this mean they're not heading in that direction?
Maybe not.
Because like,
this
to
is
the point of if the whole army's there, if the whole undead army is at Winterfell, and next episode's the Battle of Winterfell, there's got to be more than one White Walker battle. There has to be more than one, which means they beat Winterfell. They overcome Winterfell, or Winterfell doesn't lose in the next episode, and the White Walker army is just not a threat anymore.
It's
like
not
I don't know.
anymore,
Like,
and then how do you deal with Cersei and her
yeah,
army?
like it's. There's got to be somewhere else where the Night King's army is. That they didn't show the dragon around. No one is looking at a dragon. They were looking at the army. So there's something else happening with the Night King.
Well, yeah, he's got to have his dragon as like his ace up his sleeve. He's got to have that hidden somewhere. It's gonna pop out of the ground and be like, surprise!
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, okay, they're gonna the Night King's gonna show walking right behind them, and that's when they fade to black. But yeah, I did find it kind of weird that they didn't show him at all, or like you said, the dragons. I didn't think about that part too. So there could be something more with that,
which is exciting. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
But we also got the thing that, it kind of seems like Bran should have maybe said this earlier, but he was like, yeah, so the Night King is going to be coming after me. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's
By
wait
the way,
until we find out they're 12 hours away.
Yeah, then now let's bring this like very important stuff up that we could have battle planned for the last 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, but not to mention, guys, he knows where I am at all times. You see this little scribbly mark on me? Yeah, he knows where I am at all times.
Yeah, I've been leading
Cool,
here
thanks,
to
Bran.
you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bran being weird ass Bran again. Especially when he starts the episode with Jamie and he's just like, the things we do for love, and then he knows that he and Jamie are the only one who knows what that means, and everyone else in the room is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Man, kid, you're weird.
Yeah, that dude's weird.
Also, what's the deal with Bran's plan to meet the Night King by that tree, the God's tree or whatever? What's that gonna do?
He's just gonna lure him there so that they can kill him and destroy the rest of the army at once.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Arya's gonna be the assassin we need.
I hope that's not what happens. That'd be so
Oh.
lame if that's how it ends.
Speaking
I
of
imagine
Arya,
something
for it.
has to start going wrong in that plan. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as easy as we just wheel Bran out there and hide in the bushes until the Night King comes and then jump on him. I don't
but
think
Bran
it's-
knows it's gonna go wrong, and he's gonna be like, all according to Keikaku.
And we all know he is the Night King, so he just wants to meet himself over there. That's really what's
right.
happening. Yeah.
He's like, I'm big fan.
So they can just stare
Very
at each
conceited.
other, really.
Yeah. Plus,
Honestly.
knowing
want
Theon's
5
going to
minutes
be
for that.
there guarantees the plan's going to get fucked up. It just guarantees it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
sidebar.
would-
But have y'all seen the KFAF intro from this last week?
The Game of Thrones with him
Yeah.
with Andy as Brand. God, it was so funny.
So funny. So fucking funny.
I want Theon to be defending Bran, and the Night King comes up, and Theon, out of nowhere, somehow finds a ship banister to jump over, and somehow water appears, and he just leaps over the end of
Just
the ship.
jumps out like, sorry, Bran, I can't save you. But then there's a scene in the next episode where Theon just shows up on his ship, owned somehow by the Night King, and Theon just saves Bran from
That's
the
it.
ship owned by the Night King, randomly,
Yep.
with no setup or context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Theon's gonna go through 5 more redemption arcs where he goes down and back up and down and back up.
Y'all, can I tell you my favorite moment from this episode?
Yes, please
Go
tell
for
me.
it.
your
All
favorite
of this episode was worth it just for the look on Brienne of Tarth's face when she got knighted. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
one of the most feel-good moments of this entire series.
Just
seeing
her complete giddy smile, just
Right.
ear to ear.
Like, she knew that she wanted this her entire life, but she also thought it was never going to be reality, so she just convinced herself she didn't want it. And then she got it, and she was just like, this is all I've ever wanted. Oh, I loved it.
That was great, but that whole sequence is awesome. Of just Tormund coming up to her and just being so awkward with his flirtations. It was amazing.
They call me Giant's Bane?
Yeah, this is how a wildling flirts. It was so hysterical. I was dying laughing.
The whole campfire drinking thing, it felt like fan fiction, but I'm not even insulting it. It felt like fan fiction that I was really excited to witness. It was it was a lot of fun.
I missed a lot of that. I'm sorry you broke up a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I would just say them drinking around the fire, that the entire thing for the whole episode felt
Yeah.
like fan fiction, but it also was fun. They felt
Yeah.
like fun fan fiction.
Well,
I
it was
enjoyed
just-
it a lot.
It was super satisfying, is what it was.
Yeah.
And seeing Tyrion like pouring the giant cup of wine
Yeah.
for Podrick that's overflowing, and then just like being happy for a moment before they all die.
Oh, but also
It's
just
like-
quietly being like, "Yeah, I won't say anything to Brienne."
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just seemed like your drunk friend at the party that's like, no, I'll pour you a drink.
Yeah, just a half glass, right? Wink.
It's also good to see Podrick like finally confident. Like he knows he's got a big dick now, and he's finally confident about himself and his fighting skills and drinking. He's like, yeah, y'all, I'll fucking bust out this song in the middle of the campfire. I don't give a shit.
With a beautiful voice that probably wasn't his voice, but it was
It
beautiful.
was. I watched the
Oh,
inside
really?
the episode at the end, and they were like, "Yeah, we know that we know he has a great voice, and we wanted a song in this season." And so, yeah, that was actually him.
Wow. That was really nice then.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos to Pod, man. Big dick, great
Big
voice.
dick, great voice. Yeah, man.
He's going to take down the Night King, guys.
It's gonna be him.
Dick, a great voice.
Him and his big dick.
I want Podrick to be the one who does it. God, that would be so great.
No one's gonna do it.
Not if you win.
You're right. This Holden thing.
It's not gonna happen. We'll find
well,
out
if
next
you-
episode.
If y'all have any more like general things, we can say that, or we can kind of just try to maybe go through, hit the big moments.
Let's go through the big moments.
Well, first off, it was Jamie coming in and ultimately being accepted by everyone, but there was definitely
Accepted.
accepted. And it's just begrudgingly accepted by everyone. But
All thanks to Brienne.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite moments. Was her standing up and being like, "This guy's should not be in your side, but he's an honorable person, and I will stand by him." That was a great moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. It made perfect sense. I mean, you saw her in the room. It's like, yeah, this is where it's going, and this is where it should be going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sansa going along with Brienne, believing her. It's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing in that scene that I was wondering is like, is Danny gonna like see all these people vouching for him and still
Yeah.
not, accept him?
Just nods at Grey Worm. Arrow.
Yeah. Grey Worm's
I'm
like,
your
"Here's your
queen, you'll
fucking
do what-"
sword, dude." Just did not want to hand it over.
No, he just shoved it to his chest. Yeah, I mean, and it got to the point, like, I do think also the tension between Dany and Tyrion is interesting because, like, I can't completely blame her for not trusting Tyrion at this point because he's just kind of made mistake after mistake after mistake in the last, like, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Tyrion had a win, I'll say. He has not been the best. As far as results, he has not been the best, like, military and political advisor.
He also acknowledges it though in this episode.
Yeah.
Totally. When he turns around, he's like, "Yeah, so I expect one of you two will have this before this is."
Yeah, and Jorah brings that up with talking to Daenerys about why she here. It's like, yeah, he messed up, but he owns up to it a lot.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh, and I also love this. It shows how far Jorah's come since, like, back before, whenever, like, him and Barristan were having their, like, bickering, trying to fight for Daenerys' favor. Like, I want to be in control. It shows he's come a long way to the fact, like, he came in there and it was a situation where he was probably next in line to be hand. Like,
Yeah.
if he wanted it, he probably could have asked for it, but instead he goes and vouches for Tyrion, which, I mean, I think that was a cool character moment for Jorah, like, in his arc, which I've been wondering, like, I thought that Jorah was going to die from grayscale, and then obviously all this happened, so I'm like, so where are we going with Jorah? But I'm satisfied so far. Yeah, that was a cool moment. Yeah.
And now Jorah has a Valyrian steel sword.
Yep. So he doesn't have Longclaw, but he basically has the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a nice
all-
moment of Sam. You're like, I can't even lift this thing. I'm worthless.
Your dad taught me everything I know. Here you go.
So it's like that sword is not going to come in handy. Is that going to come into play pretty big? Because, like, that obviously we had the whole thing with Sam stealing it, now giving it to Jorah. Now I wonder if we should have our eye on that. Like, is he going to take out the Night King? Or something
I
like
can't remember what it is now, but I don't think it was related to Jordan anyway. But I remember there's like one scene in here. I think it was kind of in the first half of the episode. Someone said something or did something. I'm like, you just raised the biggest death flag I've ever seen. I think it was Grey Worm. He was talking about Missandei or whatever about afterwards that they were going to go and like one or both of you are going to die.
Yeah.
Never mention what you're going to do afterwards.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
100%.
How do you know there is an afterwards? Fucking Bran, man. Can we talk about how thirsty Arya is? That bitch wants that D.
The first we could skip straight to that. We can skip around as much as we want. This is our podcast. We do whatever the hell we want. But one of the first things I said to Jeff is, I bet like one of the top Google searches right now is how old is Arya? Or how old is Maisie Williams? Because and like this is the only way this can happen is because the show has aged them up. Like this could not happen in the books, and even in the show I was a little weirded out by it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely weird. What's interesting is that she is basically the same age as Sansa in real life, but she doesn't look it at all. And even however many years later that they've been doing this, what is it? It's been 10 years that they've been doing the show almost, and she still looks like a kid. So I'm like, oh God, oh they're showing her side boob. Oh God, I don't know how I feel. Oh. And
I mean, she hasn't aged 10. She hasn't aged 10 years in the universe. She's supposed to be like several years younger than Sansa. So
yeah,
I think this is weird.
Yeah, and Sansa hasn't aged as much as Sophie Turner has. So
right,
you think Sansa might be like 18ish, 19ish, maybe at most.
So it's all a little. I mean, even in the books, he's kind of aged them up without saying so. Like in the first book, like when you hear their ages, you're like, "What the hell? They're all children."
Daenerys is like 13 years old in the books, which is super fucked up if you think about what they make her go through in the first book.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But even in the books, by the time you get to the third and fourth book, it's like, okay, these people are obviously like in their 20s. I don't know when this happened, but he just basically aged them up. Yeah, so it's a little weird.
It's actually a really interesting callback to have Gendry and Arya together, because Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon talked about in the crypt they should have their son and daughter marry. Gendry is a bastard of Robert Baratheon.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, yeah.
So they called it back in season 1. They're gonna get together, and it happened.
It did.
Like he was talking about Joffrey when he said that at first, and Joffrey's not his son. Like,
nope.
So this is the first time
real
that's
son.
Yeah, this is that actually happening. Yeah.
And spoiler alert: Joffrey's no longer on the show.
Wait, what?
What?
It was due to something that he didn't like. He got a DUI in real life, and they had to write him off the show.
Joffrey was clearly going to be the hero.
Yeah,
but you know. But I guess just on the Arya thing, last thing, I do think like Arya doing this, like it makes sense for like even if she's young, like she's gone through a bunch, it's like screw it, I want to do this before I'm about to die. Just seeing it is weird to me.
Yeah.
But
that first scene though that they had together when she came in to like ask about where her weapon is and all that kind of stuff, and then she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I fought a bunch of shit," and she was just like that whole time just making eyes at him like, "Girl, I'm sure if you just ask, he'll do it."
And he did.
And he did.
kind of didn't ask, but
no, she didn't.
Speaking of her weapon, I guess I need to look at that paper again. I did not get that that's what the weapon she wanted based off that drawing.
It looked like maybe just like a staff or a spear, but then the drawing looks like it comes apart somehow.
I think everyone just made too much out of a, I don't know, millisecond shot in the show. It wasn't up for very long.
Holden, we will analyze too much, and you can't take that away from us.
This is Game of Thrones.
I guess we'll see whatever's special about it next week, because obviously they've made this thing a big deal. Something special is going to go on with that thing.
Have they? Again, it was up for a millisecond. Red herrings are a thing.
But then there was another scene about it today. She's like, "Stop making all of your weapons and make my weapon first." And then there was like then another scene where he gives it to her and she tries it out and she's like, "Yeah, this will do." And like,
red herrings are a thing.
His weapon.
And red herrings are a thing.
Yeah, but also fuck you.
She's gonna be like running out to the battle and like drop it in a hole and be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, like this actually doesn't matter.
Fall
just, like,
over on it.
She's gonna get all the way out there. She's gonna be just about to die. She's like, "Oh fuck! I left my stick back in the room. Damn it!" And that's it.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah. And then she dies. If only she had that stick.
Laugh track, fade to black.
Laugh track, fade to black. The end of Game of Thrones. What if the last what if next episode is the last episode, and then 4, 5, and 6 are just black? it's just an hour of black.
What if it cuts to black like The Sopranos?
But for 3 episodes.
For 3 episodes.
3 80-minute episodes.
Yeah. Like they could have made it an hour long, but like 80, why not? People will think it's crazy. Like, oh, what's going to happen? But we know it's just black. That's it.
I'd be for it.
Okay, I guess moving on chronologically, there was so Bran, when Jamie did finally come up to Bran, he's like, okay, you've been staring at me for so long, I guess I'll come apologize. I'm sorry.
You've made me so uncomfortable. I get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this went down about how I was expecting it. I didn't expect Bran to care because Bran's not Bran anymore, basically.
It's like, we need as many people we can get. Screw telling people or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the way. He's like the worst three-eyed raven ever. I realized this. I rewatched episode 1 right before episode 2. And he says, I'm waiting. They have a scene of him waiting in the courtyard of Winterfell. And he says, I'm waiting for a friend. It's at nighttime. And then during the day, Jamie comes. And they share the glance across the courtyard. Was that the friend he was looking for? And he waited like at least 6 to 12
100%.
hours in the courtyard to see him? Like, he's a really shitty three-eyed raven.
He can't see the future. He just knows what's happening right now.
Well, his predictions suck.
Right now,
They
Jamie
really
was leaving
suck.
his room, and he's like, oh, better get there just in case. And then it turns out, oh, Jamie's just going to the bathroom. Well, fuck, I'm in a wheelchair. I can't move. Guess I'll wait.
Yeah, that was the last time anyone could roll him around.
You can't see the...
Yeah, who moves him? He doesn't have Hodor anymore.
That's true. Someone even asked
I
in
like
this
to think
episode,
The
like, can I
plot
help you out?
moves him.
I like to think that he just sees Jamie is like really close to Winterfell. And he's like, okay, I'll go out and wait for him. And then Jamie's just like pacing back and forth, really nervous. And Bran's like, just come in.
And then he's like,
Just
oh,
come
it's too
in.
late. I'll just take a nap and go in the morning.
Yeah, Tyrion did ask to help move him, and he said no. How does he get around?
Plot.
Plot.
Oh my god.
What happens
Okay,
next?
Well, I have Brienne Jamie here, but I honestly don't remember what that
Oh,
was. Because
that
there
was
so many moments.
Tyrion.
Oh, that was
and
when they were outside.
He were on the wall,
walls,
and then
yeah.
he sees
Yeah.
Brienne off with pod training. It's kind of like they're like looking at their son training and fighting. He's like, oh, he's growing up so well.
And he's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullying
Pod's a
some
fighter now.
soldiers.
And then
around.
she's like, why won't you insult me? And he's like, I don't want to insult you. You want me to? No. Okay. Fine.
Did you want her to say yes? Like, yes, insult me.
I just wanted him to call her a fat pig or something, and then she just gets so offended and cuts his head off. Oh, no, but then he couldn't have knighted her, and that was one of the best moments of the whole series. So
now we can cut her head off.
now
it's
she can get his head
accidentally cuts her. He accidentally cuts her head off while knighting. Like, oops. Sorry, one
He
hand.
just like trips over nothing on the floor.
fine. Yeah, probably get around. Okay, well, I don't think there's a whole lot there, but then the next thing I have here is Dany and Sansa, which we're definitely getting to the point with Emilia Clarke's acting that if Daenerys does not turn bad, then like some of this acting has been like way too, like her facial expressions are way too psychotic.
Yeah, I think we get more of a hint that that's probably how it's going to go in the end.
If
So we'll
she
get to
ends
that.
up just being a level-headed person at the end, I'm gonna be like,
Hell no. Did you see that? That's, last scene or next last scene?
yeah, very true. But I didn't really love this scene. I just don't like when Emilia Clarke, whenever a scene is like focused on Emilia Clarke having to show like a range of emotions, I don't buy it. Like she just seems fake to me.
I feel like
Especially when-
she's really great at being badass, and that's about it.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Whereas like I think Sophie Turner's a lot better than her, so it was a little weird in that scene. You turn to Sophie Turner, it's like I believe that face. You turn to Emilia Clarke, and it's just like I don't know. It's just there's a weird dichotomy there.
Yep. And then we get the Sansa asks, well, what about the North after you become queen and stuff?
I'm not holding your hand
Yeah,
anymore.
Dan's like, big eyes.
Friendship
What?
with Sansa ended.
Yep.
Thank God someone walks in. And that's where
Yeah.
our Theon thing comes in. Fucking Theon.
Yep.
I don't know how to feel about him.
It's
I-
poor Theon.
I don't think I
he's
like
gone
him.
through some shit.
Oh, poor Theon.
He's a skeevy bastard, but he's gone through some shit at the same time.
Yeah, well-deserved shit.
Karma is a
I
bitch.
think Theon is one of the like to me personally. I understand it doesn't resonate with everyone, but to me personally, Theon is like one of the most impressive arcs in the show and books because I mean, they full on. He is an absolute monster who like kills all the like people you love, like kills everyone in Winterfell. He's a terrible, awful person. And then they put him through the ringer so much to where I'm sitting in here like tearing up with him like finally getting redemption and coming all the way around. And the fact that they have made me like go that full cycle and like I don't know. And it's also it helps that Alfie Allen is just an incredible actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great. I just like I don't know. I feel like he's done so much that I can't ever root for him again. I was close to until he jumped off the boat and abandoned his sister. But
he saved her. He got her back. He just realized that was not the moment to save her. He would have died.
Yeah. And to be fair, had he charged straight at her, yeah, he just would have died, and then she would have died.
Well, she would have died first for sure because the knife was on her throat. There was no chance.
But they would have both died with honor.
Well, they both were saved with half honor, some honor, but they're alive. That's what's important. They're alive.
All right.
Maybe none of them was honorable, but
would you rather be a living coward or a dead honorable man, Chad?
Dead honorable man. Duh.
Ned Stark was honorable, and
okay, but we're not answering for Chad. We're answering for Theon, and Theon would absolutely choose a live coward.
Okay, well, do y'all have anything more on Dany, Sansa, or Theon, Sansa? That was pretty much that. Next thing I have is Jon and company reunion, like the whole Night's Watch people.
Torment, Beric,
yeah,
all getting in there.
Yep.
Before daybreak or whatever, they'll be here. Shit's going down.
Yeah.
But before the bad news came, I kind of liked seeing all of them back together. It was like, like Jon hasn't seen like Dollar said in them in a long time. That was cool.
Yep. Boys are back in town.
Throwback to the early days. Yeah, that was cool. Then I guess the next thing I have here is the strategy meeting after they know that the White Walkers are coming. And this is another just cool scene where it's really cool to just see that shot and be like, wow, all of these characters are in Winterfell. This is like super weird.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool
that for so long.
that Bran frames basically the Night King's entire super objective in this one scene where he's like, the Night King wants to engulf the world in darkness and kill everything that's living, and he wants to erase mankind from Earth's memory, and the world's memory. So he's coming for me. Like, so I thought like, oh, that's his entire motivation for this entire season is to just wipe out everything and.
So just evil. He just is just evil.
Just evil.
Yeah. That was also a cool scene. It was really imposing seeing because they set up all the soldiers on the battlefield and everything, and the Undead Army is just like basically a giant wall.
Yeah, it looks like the wall.
Yeah, it's massive. It's just like, yeah, they're fucked. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I guess one thing, how do you guys feel about I think Game of Thrones throughout the whole series, like all the antagonists, or at least most of the antagonists have had like a lot of layers on them. I feel like they're like morally gray, or at least just their backstory is kind of like, even if they're just a horrible person, they have like a tragic past that makes you like kind of feel for them. It's a little weird for that story to be ending with generic evil bad guy who wants to destroy the world.
I don't see it that way. I see it as a force of nature, and it's like it's a man versus nature story at this point. And man versus man is complicated because man can be complicated, but nature is nature. Nature doesn't give a fuck. It will just destroy.
Right.
And that's
I
kind
think
of
that's also kind of what makes it so scary too. Is that it doesn't have layers. There is no second motivation. It's just like, this thing's coming for you, and it's
there's nothing you could say to it to be like, hey, like let's work together and we'll give you wheat and your people.
You can't
be
little
fed.
finger your way into this thing.
You can't little finger your way. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, I think the way that they're doing it works well, but yeah, and it kind of goes in with the whole climate change thing too, which I do.
I'll say this episode convinced me more because everyone's getting ready to die. They're just getting ready to die.
Yep.
So much closure for the second episode of a show where everyone's going to die.
Yep.
Everyone. Yeah, it almost felt that there was too many happy moments. It's like, okay, where's this going, guys?
Everyone has closure now. We can die happy.
For the next 4 episodes, everyone's just gonna die
It's
happy.
just all the characters in the show each have about 5 minutes to die. It's just skia. Next episode. Skia.
Did I say this last week? Like it's gonna end like 6 Feet Under, where it's just like everyone
I think you
die.
were just telling me that over the phone.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds like 6 Feet Under, where it's just like the next 4 episodes is just gonna be how everyone dies.
I only saw the first 2 seasons of Six Feet Under. Did they all die?
Oh,
well,
man.
I
They
haven't
don't die in the show, but the ending is showing eventually later in life how everyone dies, because the show a lot is about death.
Yeah, that's fitting.
Yeah. It also is literally the last 3 episodes of that show is more I've cried than any other time in my life. It was like ugly cry sobbing. I had to wait till my roommate went home on vacation so that I could sob in peace. Whew.
I had to watch the first season for a class in college, and then I watched the second season, and then just never watched it anymore for some reason.
I actually only watched season 1. I just know how it ends.
But you don't understand how it ends. You know how it ends, but you don't understand.
I really loved season 1, though. That was a fantastic
Watch
season
it. There
of
are only like
television.
5 seasons.
One, though, it's not, however, Game of Thrones season 8, episode 2, so we should get back to that probably.
You're true.
We just switch over. Yeah. Okay. So after the strategy meeting, this is where again Bran just kind of reveals a bunch of stuff that he probably should have revealed before, but
he didn't think it was necessary.
So now we have this plan of using Bran as bait, because apparently they at least believe that if they take out the White Walker, then everyone else falls, because last season they took out one of the smaller whites and all the people he turned fell. Mm-hmm. So they just assume that doing this will take everyone out. So I think that, of course, means that that's obviously not happening next episode or anytime soon. We're out, because I see no way that we leave the battle next episode and all the White Walkers are dead. Yeah. It's that's just not gonna happen.
Well, I like how in this whole strategy meeting they never account for the freaking dragon the Night King has.
Right?
Yeah. Do you know, though, that's kind of a weird stake. It's like, oh, they have a dragon. Yeah, we have 2. So just have two dragons tag team them and it's done. I don't know. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
this is never
2 dragons tag teaming another dragon. Eiffel Tower.
I did not mean it like that, but sure. It's just weird odds. If Night King had 2 dragons, that'd be fuck, they're screwed. But it's 1, yeah, they got 2 more.
Yeah, but what if during that fight of the 2 live dragons versus the 1 dead dragon, one of the other dragons dies? Then suddenly you have 2 dead dragons versus 1 live dragon.
Well, then it'll just have to have people playing goalie against the other dragon and make sure the Night King can't throw any more of those spears. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay. People playing goalie in the air with the
Yep.
spears.
Yep.
Well, no, it's dead. It can't fly and be dead at the same time. It's on the ground. Much easier target to defend.
What was I thinking?
I know.
Stupid
What
idiot.
were you thinking, Chad? Clearly, that's gonna happen.
Well, Danny needs to get her some weird ice spears to throw while she's on top of it. Or I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be even playing field though.
No, just lots of shields. Just lots of shields around the dragon. You got it.
A phalanx.
Armored dragon. That sounds cool.
Oh shit, that does sound cool.
No, it's probably a metal band, most likely. All right. The campfire things happened throughout. For some reason, this is where I finally put the point down. But we had that. I also do want to talk about Arya and the Hound, though. Too. I was happy. I was a little disappointed by their tiny reunion last week, and since we were going full into reunions this week, we had enough time. I was happy to see them actually kind of have a moment. You know?
Yeah, I like their relationship.
Cool. I do too. The Hound is one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Absolutely.
Though, if everyone dies next, he's never going to be able to get his battle with the mountain if everyone dies next episode.
Unless, as zombies, they fight.
Oh, shit.
Both be zombies.
Zombie brother fight. Oh, my God.
That might be
the
even better.
It would kind of be the saddest version of Clegane Bowl, though.
No,
But
because
we would accept it.
even in death, they must fight.
Never ending.
It's never ending.
Did y'all like this Arya Hound scene, though? And then Beric just crashing the party.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Being weird. Being old shit. Like, I don't want to spend my last night with you two old shits or something. I'm gonna
go get laid real quick.
I'm gonna go get laid. Yeah, I'm like 13 or something. You don't know. I don't know.
No one knows how old any of us are now.
Time flies so quickly this season.
Let's go make like 17 million people feel really weird.
I don't know. They should have lower third titles for the characters, like Arya Stark, Stark family, age 15.
Age whatever you think.
Yeah, like
weird.
age whatever. Yeah.
Whatever's legal.
Age of consent +1.
+1. I don't know. Arya is just too much. We think of her as like the little Arya, so it's weird.
I don't know. She's killed some people. She's no longer little Arya.
Yeah. She might have the highest kill count on the series. Well, that we've seen. I'm sure Jaime is the highest, but.
Yeah, I mean, some of these old people have been around forever, and they've been in wars and killed lots of people, so who knows?
Those dragons definitely have some skeletons in their closet. Absolutely. Charred, burned, ruined skeletons.
There's also that dragon skeleton closet below King's Landing.
There's also that, but that's no one's fault on the show.
All right, well, let's just jump to the John revealing his identity to Dany. I'm sure there's other things that we can maybe sweep back around, but I feel like we have to spend some time on this one.
Yeah.
Just want to say, there's no conclusion to that scene, really.
No, there wasn't.
It happened, and then the horn blew, and then they had to go up and see the Night King's army.
But yeah, she looked pissed. She's like,
she looked pissed.
That makes you the fucking heir. And then, so he had heard this from Sam. He obviously went and confirmed it with Brand, and then she mentions, well, that makes you the rightful heir. And it looked like that was the first time he's ever heard that before, or the first time he's ever thought about that before. I was like, really?
I can believe it's the first time he kind of thought about it. I mean, really thought about it.
Sam straight up said it, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
When Sam told him, it's like, that makes you the rightful heir.
Yeah, he did. So that makes the heir of the Seven Kingdoms.
His facial expression was really weird. Like, I agree with it. Like, she said it, and he was like,
I don't know.
What I am? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Maybe his facial expression was, how the fuck to get out of this honorably? No way.
If he didn't realize that, then what's the point of him telling her? He might have just thought, oh, by the way, it's weird that we're fucking.
I was literally had my head in my hands just going, why the fuck would he even say this? Right now, of all times, why would he say this? There's no positive outcome.
Well, no, I mean, I actually believe it. He says it because he's Ned Stark's son, like
because he's so honorable. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Ned Stark was honorable to a stupid degree, and he got killed. John is the most Ned character in this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've seen it over and over again. And
like
he told her that because that's the honorable thing. Ned would tell him, "You've like bedded this woman. You've done all this. Like you have to tell her this. It's the honorable thing to do." You know.
Yeah.
Or now that everyone else is having sex on their last night, this is his way of saying, "Listen, it's not going to happen tonight." And this is the only way. This is the only excuse I could come up with.
He couldn't be like, "I'm just so tired."
And now that I know,
I have to get up early tomorrow. The Night King's coming. I have to get up early.
Sorry, I've had a lot to drink. I can't get it up tonight. Sorry.
He's so honorable. He's got to be honest about it. That's great. Yep. I love that.
But as expected, Dany, when tasked with whenever she figures out that she does not have the rightful claim, she still is pushing forward. She does not back down from it. Like she's gone this whole time, being able to tell everyone, I'm doing this because I have a claim to the throne. Now, without a claim to the throne, I think we might see just selfish, kind of arrogant Dany, who's like, well, I'm still gonna take it. You know, you have the claim, but I'm still gonna take it.
It's crazy because I've said this before that this is gonna be an issue against the Night King, is Dany no longer being loyal to the cause because of this. But I just can't imagine her not being loyal as the Night King's army is there.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, but they did set up the whole thing of with when Dany was talking to Sansa of the only reason I'm here because I love your brother, blah blah blah, and now there's this crap.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna come and play during the battle some way or the other. Like they're talking strategy, but Dany won't trust Jon now or something.
There's gonna be infighting, which is the last thing you want when an army of the dead is marching at you. But at this point, Dany's too far in. Like, her own army is out there about to get killed by White Walkers too. You know.
I think what's interesting when he brought it up to her, the first thing she did was deny it. She said, "So who knows? Just your best friend and your brother, and that's you're gonna trust them that's the truth." What if all three of them die and she has to make the decision, do I tell everyone or do I just like fuck it? Well, I guess if all three of them die, then it doesn't matter because she's rightful heir anyway.
Yeah.
Or if just Sam and Bran die and it's just Jon's word against hers, does she...
I mean, here's the thing. I think this would have probably come up if, they weren't, taken away from that because of the battle. I'm sure Jon will be like, we don't have to maybe tell anyone really.
But I'm getting way more the feeling that, like, I thought it was going to be more like that Jon's like, I don't want this, let's just keep this under wraps. But I'm getting a lot more the feeling that, like, Sam's words and other people's words are getting to Jon because he doesn't seem happy with Daenerys. Like, just from his, like, actions, his, like, maybe it's because he's internally processing the fact that he was sleeping with his aunt and all this other stuff. But they don't seem great right now, even before the reveal. Like... Jon seems hesitant.
I can see where you're coming from.
But
go ahead.
No, I can see where you're coming from, but I would disagree in the sense that if he was concerned, he wouldn't have told her. Because he wasn't concerned, he told her.
Well,
it's a very dangerous thing to say. I mean, it was already spoken. It's treasonous to bring up what was said. This is the same thing that got Ned's head cut off, is questioning who's on the Iron Throne like that. It's a big deal. So I don't think he would have said it unless he trusted Daenerys.
Well, remember, Ned trusted people he shouldn't be trusting because it was just the honorable thing he said. Well, whatever he was supposed to say.
That's a good point. That's fair.
Yeah,
and that's what got him killed.
He did literally trust Joffrey to not cut his head off.
Well, that's what you can't think whenever you're dealing with Jon and Ned, just those two characters. You cannot think about like them having a plot or having like, I'm gonna not tell this person to make them do this. That's not how Jon works. And I think if Jon was beginning to think that Dany would not be a good leader, then he would say that. Like, I think if he thought that Dany was a good leader, then he would potentially, that would be the situation where he doesn't say anything. But like, if he thinks that she's maybe not great, then it's gonna be another situation where he's like, I don't want this responsibility, but I have to take it because I'm what's best.
Yeah, mic drop.
Mic drop, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't know if that's happened yet at this point because he was kind of... The beginning of the episode was the first time that Jon saw Dany since he knew, and he was distant from there. So it seemed more, not necessarily he was upset with Dany while she was doing anything. It was more he was processing or being weird about it.
I mean, but you also had Sam like pleading to him, like, she killed my parent, like killed my dad and brother, and he was like, you've saved like even Jon was like, I've had to execute people, and he's like, but you've also saved thousands of people. You've done all this. Yes,
that just seems like a random switch.
I mean, I agree, but I think this is where it seems like, I mean, like, I don't think those lines are there for nothing. And I
guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's above the show to.
Yeah, I guess at this point.
To take those lines. Like, no, the show does not do subtlety all that well in a lot of these situations.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Y'all, and then that was it. We see the shot of the army. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then we see next on Game of Thrones. It's just
ready
a bunch
to go
of faces and battle stances.
In 7 weeks.
I didn't even bother
days.
watching the next on. I just don't want to know. I know from this point on, it's got to just be balls to the walls insanity. They had 2
just
episodes
people's
of
faces looking determined and them standing there with the sword. And that was it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Me and Jeff pretty much never watched the next on because it's like, I'm going to see the episode. I don't really need to.
But you got to have rumors and speculation. You got to do it.
Well, I will say this as far as like the whole nothing happening as far as action in this episode. I didn't mention it when we started the episode, but I noticed when the whole thing came up in the beginning where it has why which rated it is, like with the nudity and that stuff. I noticed violence wasn't there.
They played their hand, man. They should have just had some like training person get his arm cut off just so that they could put the violence in there.
I know. I just didn't want to say anything because, like, yeah.
That's kind of an ultimate spoiler, isn't it?
Yeah.
They shouldn't do that. They should just say it's Emperor
Next
violence.
episode-
It's Game of Thrones. No one will question it. It's just violence. Just put it in there.
Next episode is just going to be labeled V for violence, and that's it.
It's it. Yeah. I
It's
kind of hope
crazy
not.
that Game of Thrones is at the point where, like, yeah, the content warnings can be spoilers for what's happening in the episode.
Yeah, I'm used to that in some TV shows where just the opening thing where they're showing actors in there, one actor's name being in there is like, oh, well, I know their character's in here, even though I have no reason to believe at the moment.
Well, I remember in Game of Thrones in previous seasons when we knew a battle was coming up, like a battle might be happening soon, you would get it up there and there would be no warning for nudity, and it's like, oh, this must be a huge battle. They don't even have time to show boobs. It's just, we're going in.
The previously on can be like that too, though. Like they'll show an irrelevant scene from season 2, and you're like, oh, I guess they're bringing that back up again.
Yeah.
So I try to even avoid that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. It's rough.
I love it all. I consume it all, and I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see how that plays into this episode then.
So overall, what do you guys feel about like this episode as a whole? Because I mean, I'm conflicted. I enjoyed it, but there's definitely
There were
I mean,
awesome,
yeah.
there were awesome character moments. There was nothing about it that was like, oh, this was bad. It was all good. It was good character moments. It was enjoyable to see so many big moments in the show kind of collide together and kind of fit into place. But it's 6 episodes in the whole season. I want to start seeing steps towards a conclusion, and we just 2 episodes in, we haven't seen that yet. It just feels like a lot of making things seem nice.
This is one that I feel like will be, I will appreciate it a lot more when it's over. And I'll look back on it and be like, oh, yeah, that actually was a really great episode, and I loved how it set up blank, blank, and blank. But right now, it's hard to see that just based on what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this episode and the last episode, how we really feel about it in the end, we'll know a lot more when this show's over and see how the whole season was paced.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I could actually end up seeing this be like one of the episodes that I remember like the most fondly of at least like the like season 7 and 8, just because just the fact of like it. I'm kind of like, even though it seems like we need to be like picking up the pace, and that's mostly just because I know there's only 6 episodes. Again, if this was a 10 episode season, none of these concerns would probably be there at all. But I am glad that we are able to like stop and like realize the fact that all of these characters are in Winterfell and how bizarre that is in the context of the whole show, and we're
And
able
that
to
they're all
kind of
getting
soak
along
that
in
up.
Winterfell.
Oh, aside, I didn't even mention this. One of the funniest moments in the episode is just your point, Darby. Jaime and Tyrion laughing at how Tywin Lannister would have rolled in his grave knowing that 2 Lannister sons were defending Winterfell.
Yep.
Great
Yeah.
moment. To your point, Darby. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was great. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, that was awesome.
And so then we saw Little Miss Mormont seeing Jorah and doing other things
Oh,
like
yeah. I like that.
she's like, I'm fighting.
So you're not gonna put Lyanna Mormont in the crypts. It's not gonna happen. Okay.
No.
I was looking forward to them finally reuniting. I guess reuniting, because they'd probably met before when she was a baby.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's surprising that it's positive because like the Mormont Jorah was like exiled, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a it's good that things are positive. Things can come all the way around. Is there any other cool things we missed from your Wikipedia article, Jeffrey?
Let's see. I think that's all. Everything that's in here.
Whoa, we're
No.
better than Wikipedia.
Boom,
You guys heard it here
take
first.
that. 6 hour.
Just
leaked
delete all the
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia entry and just upload this episode.
Yeah. Normally here we might do like a little prediction or something, but it's hard to predict because all we know is battles, and we
Well,
kind of.
I think we 100% know there's going to be a giant battle at next episode. So I feel like I'm going to be completely dumbfounded if we don't get some deaths.
Oh yeah.
That would be.
Do you guys have any predictions about how this battle is going to go?
It'd be amazing if next episode was just what we saw in this episode, just at King's Landing, and a bunch of reunions there instead. And they don't even show the King's Army.
No,
Well,
wait,
everyone's
Darby.
at Winterfell, so it's just Cersei and the Mountain.
No, I thought
It's just
Darby.
one long reunion between Cersei and the Mountain. That's it.
No, I was gonna say, Darby. It's gonna be like the Bojack episode. Cersei's just doing an 80-minute long monologue.
And then it turns around and Euron's just the only one there. The only one she's talking to.
And he's just sleeping.
Yeah.
Or it opens up and it's that acting troupe who did the story of Joffrey, but then they're just acting out everyone reuniting at Winterfell for Cersei so that she knows what's going on. And it's those 2 episodes just reenacted again.
That'd be the biggest waste of time in any TV show episode ever. That'd be amazing. I would love it just for how ridiculous it would be.
Yep.
I mean, I think next episode is going to be just a lot of undead army. They haven't shown literally there's been no undead army.
Yeah.
The entire 2 episodes minus the last 10 seconds. It's going to be all out. They've been teasing it, and they want you to want it so bad that they have to show it now. So it's going to be all that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I know we just kind of said it. Cersei's like the only, and the people at King's Landing are the only characters that aren't really there at this point. I guess Yara's doing her thing, but that's kind of... So yeah, this episode's probably all 80 minutes at Winterfell.
Yep.
I could see that. I mean, maybe like a little bit at the top if they have anything to say with Cersei at this point.
Yeah, or maybe something at the end or something, yeah. Very little, if anything.
Yeah.
There will be scenes of her hearing what's going on from ravens or from something. There'll be some scene of her being like, they
Who's
attacked at
sending her
Winterfell.
ravens?
I don't know, but there'll be some scene of some guy going, they attacked Winterfell. They're on their way, or something like that. Like, there'll be some scene of that at the very least. And she'll say the same thing last time, good.
No, we see a raven get sent and it said it says like to Cersei on it, and
it
then,
says execute Order 66.
yeah, and then it backs away from the raven, and Bran's sitting there like,
I don't know. Execute Order 66 would be a terrible idea. Those Jedis could be so helpful against the undead army.
You're right.
Just force pushing them out of the way and everything. Man, Night King just
into
a chance.
fire.
I do think there's a decent possibility. Like, I think that in some way, shape, or form, they're going to lose the Battle of Winterfell. Like, I think obviously there's going to be a lot of people alive, but I think they're going to have to retreat or something.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way, because if they're at least not going to fully win, because what do you do? What do you do the rest of the time?
Well,
and I can totally see a moment where the Northern Army is having to retreat south, and Cersei's just sitting there waiting for them, and she just murders them as they come south.
Oh,
like
man.
in just a line, and like you like they should set it up like in the episode where you're not even thinking about it. They just focus on the northern people. They haven't even shown Cersei at all. In fact, like this could work because like they cannot show Cersei this episode or next episode. Like it's been 2 weeks since we've seen Cersei, and then we find out this is what she's been planning, and they just march right into like a wall of death.
I think that is brilliant, and I'll tell you why. Because next episode will be a relief to see, oh my god, Winterfell is destroyed, but Jon Snow made it out. Daenerys made it out. Like, maybe the dragons are dead, or like whatever. Like, they're in turmoil, but at least they made it out. And then Cersei just meets them and kills them all. And then Jon Snow and all these people are dead because Cersei was just waiting for them. I think that'd be fucking maniacal and awesome.
They win that battle, and then right behind is the Wall of Death coming forward.
Exactly.
And they have no dragon glass, and they have no Valyrian steel, and they wipe them out.
That would be the ultimate Cersei arrogance, like ignorant.
Well, it's gonna come down to her. If they're doing the Battle of Winterfell in episode 3, it's not like they're gonna ignore Cersei for 3 more episodes of the show and be like, "Well, it didn't really matter anyway." I think you're right. I think you're 100% right, Darby. I think you're right.
I could see this almost being like a Red Wedding type thing where it happens at the end of the episode and no one was even thinking about Cersei because they were so focused on, oh god, they're marching south, march south, and then boom.
Darby.
And then it just like cuts and it's like, oh shit, what the hell just happened?
Darby, have you read these scripts already? Because that's an awesome thread of where this is going. I really like that a lot.
Yeah. It could be. I just showed
pumped.
Jeff, by the way.
I'm so pumped about that.
Will, who guests on a lot of our podcasts, he just texted us and said, "Okay, the Red Wedding episode just crushed me." So
he's just watching Red Wedding right now?
He's just watching, yeah.
Oh my god. Is he gonna try to catch up so that he can watch the finale live?
I don't know.
I didn't even know he was watching it. Or
I remember him saying something a while back that he was watching it, but I forgot. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. All right. Well, unless y'all have any more last-minute predictions or any more praise you just want to send my way for my awesome ideas, I mean, you can, that's fine.
Darby, you're so dreamy.
I think we can call it though, because I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week.
Okay, here's a fun little thing. I know we did the whole prediction paper thing, but now that we know this way, this is what's happening next, the whole big battle. Let's go around and guess the amount of named characters that will die next episode.
Okay,
just for the funsies.
You broke up a little bit, but I assume you said let's go around and say who we think will die in the next episode. Is that right?
Or how many do you think? How many named characters do you think will die next episode?
If you have some names, yeah.
For out who you think could bite it.
Tormund will die.
And then Brienne will kiss him.
No, Brienne Charth will die as well. She was knighted so you can feel even worse when she dies.
And then Pod avenges them all.
You laugh, Chad, but you know I'm right. She's going to die.
Yeah. She got what she needed. She got everything she wanted in life. That means she's ready to die.
Yep.
This was too
That's how storytelling works.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Honestly, now when she dies and people write about her, they might be writing about Brienne the Knight in the history books and stuff. It's like, who died in the Battle of Winterfell.
As long as everyone who was in that fireside room doesn't die, so that they all know she was a knight.
Oh, that'd be so tragic.
So one of
that'd
them's
be awful. That'd be terrible.
Pod's the only one who's going to survive, and he'll go tell the tale.
Wait, so Tyrion's not going to... Oh, wait, he was on the thing, but yeah.
He was
saying I know Daenerys told Tyrion to not be on the fight, but he's out there on the castle walls. At least,
I guess. I mean, he could scurry down to the crypts. Yeah.
There could be someone who can tell the tale.
Yeah, I don't think Tyrion will die. I think you're right there because there wasn't a lot of conclusion for him in this episode for him to die.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, there's going to be an evacuation of Winterfell, and I think Tyrion will probably be amongst those.
And that's when Tyrion rides the dragon.
Very, very well could be when Tyrion rides dragon.
Or he's eaten by a dragon when he tries to ride a dragon.
That'd be hysterical.
I just want to see Bran's wheelchair strapped to the dragon. He's just sitting there lifeless, riding on the dragon.
One fly just hits him in the eye and he just doesn't budge.
Seriously though, Bran will die if he does confront the Night King. I mean, is there a chance he'd survive that? Unless that's how it's revealed he's really the Night King, which I still don't think that's a valid theory.
And I still don't completely know, if Bran dies, is all of this just how bad of a hit is that for humanity if Bran dies? I don't know at this point.
I mean, do they really use him that much?
He already told his tale to Tyrion, so he can die now. Tyrion knows everything that's ever been known.
Tyrion's the three-eyed raven now.
Yep, that's how it works.
And also, that just goes to Jaime and starts making jokes. Doesn't mention anything about this apparently incredible story he heard about the three-eyed raven.
Must have been pretty boring.
It was really boring.
Not that great. Yeah.
Turns out the
hold
kids
the
just
door.
Been
what are you
talking
about?
Who's guys called hold the door? What?
Or not even that. Just Bran's so monotone. Tyrion didn't even register what Bran was saying. It's yeah, absolutely, thanks, Bran. Whatever you said, good story. Have a good night.
What did my brother do?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I don't know. I think around does 5 sound right? 4 or 5?
Going lucky number 7. Let's go.
Lucky number 7. There you go.
No, I'm guessing 10. I'm guessing 10 significant.
I'm right there with you, Jeff. Grey Worm. His days are numbered.
He's dying.
And he's on the front lines. It makes sense. He's in the most dangerous spot.
No, but that was the biggest death flag I've seen in the show.
Kill me, please. And yeah, I think Tormund going out in the blaze of glory could definitely happen. I still think Jorah could die. I think Jorah is one of those that is expendable enough to where you can kill him, but his death would be very impactful.
Yeah,
he is outside the walls too.
Yeah, we ever see him on the horse outside the wall? So.
Yeah, I think anyone outside the wall is dead. I just can't imagine anyone outside that wall making it.
The fact that Beric Dondarrion has been brought back so many times, but then Thoros is gone, so the Hound said, "This is your last life, Beric." I think he's gonna die at some point. So why not now? And
why not now?
Why not now? All right, well, let's call it there. So Chad and Holden, where can people find you if they want to see the things that you are doing and putting out in the world?
They can go to Twitter on @RespawnAimFire, and they can go to podcast services and listen to our gaming podcast called @RespawnAimFire, because we're the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast, and it's super fun. And also, I'm on Twitter @InnisChadMike.
And I'm at Twitter at everything Chad just said, except at Chad Innismike. I'm not at Chad Innismike. I'm at Holden DePardo. But you should really just follow at Chad Innismike because Innis Chad Mike, sorry. Because there's just way more interesting content there. I don't post anything. So just way better stuff there.
And go ahead and like his Beat Saber number 4 in the world.
Number 4 in the world!
Post. Yeah, go ahead and like that.
I doubt I'm number 4 in the world anymore, but I got photo evidence, so.
Moment in time.
It happened.
That's right.
At one point in time.
All right. Well, you can find all 4 of us back here again next week for episode 3, the Battle of Winterfell, and whatever else happens. I have a feeling this is what they were talking about with the longest recorded battle in history, so that's probably going to be it. But
that's why they added the 20-something minutes so they could get that record.
Yep.
It honestly might have been.
It's just
all
filler,
right.
all of it.
all of it. All right. Thanks, guys.